Our next part is going to be about admissions and financial matters from Ekaterina Pavlova. Thank you.
Hello, and warm welcome also from my side, and also greetings to everybody who's joining us online from all over the world. As my colleague Andrea just mentioned, my name is Ekaterina, and I'm admissions coordinator here at CEU, mainly concentrating on undergraduate programs. All right, and in this next 15 minutes, I will guide you through the application deadlines, application requirements, but also the timeline and the cycle, the process, and we'll touch upon the financial matters, as previously said. Now, here at CEU, we are running admission cycle twice per year, and we're already in the middle of receiving applications for the priority deadline, which is February 1st. We call it the priority deadline for many reasons, but mainly because this is the deadline when anybody could apply, no matter of their citizenship. The reason we have it so early, so those who come from outside of the EU and would require residence permit to study and join us would have enough time to prepare all documents and would arrive on time. Also, this priority deadline is for those who would want to be considered for financial support opportunities. And we mainly try to fill in the class after this deadline. And in case you're an EU citizen or resident and would like to apply later in the timeline by April 15, for example, and we would have filled the classes by then already, we would only consider you for a waiting list at that point. So I strongly encourage everybody, no matter the citizenship, to apply with the priority deadline. Now, what is it that you need to prepare in order to apply? Actually, in order to be eligible, you only need two things. You need to be a high school graduate with a high school diploma of any kind. We accept students from all over the world and accept diplomas of different countries, no matter. And you would need to prove your level of English. However, we are quite competitive. As the program directors mentioned, we have small class sizes, 30 students per class, and number of applications is growing every year. Therefore, we require that you submit more documents so we would get to know you better. Follow a holistic approach, and we consider your whole profile, you as a personality, in addition to your grades. So now let me guide you through the process, through the package of documents that we require, and then I'll briefly explain how the process in the timeline goes. Now, you would need to start an online application. Everything must be submitted online. You do not need to send us any printed copies via post. In this application, you would upload your academic records, such as transcripts for the past full academic years. If you have graduated by now, then also a copy of your diploma. If you've been attending university, also transcripts from the university. If you have any standardized tests, such as SAT scores, and you are proud of those and you would like to share them with us, please also attach these to the application. However, they're not mandatory, it's optional. And if you're attending a school which gives you predicted grades for your graduation, please attach these as well. Now, for the proof of English proficiency, we have a list of standardized tests that we accept with minimum requirements. Please check those. With validity of those, please also check the requirements there. I will not present the whole table of all the different tests. There are many. However, those of you who are mother tongue speakers might be exempted from submitting a test, and those of you who are currently attending or have been attending high school where the medium of instruction was English for at least 2 years, you might be exempted from submitting the test as well. The next in line is application essay, an important requirement. There are different tasks on the website, depending on the program, that you would need to submit. It's up to 500 words. We rather recommend you keep it short than too long. Please don't write anything above 500 words. We read many applications and essays in the admission cycle. All the tasks are on the website with some examples. You may take those examples and write about the topics suggested, but we encourage you to think of something that would interest you personally and write about that. It's always a good thing to do. Now, Do not confuse the essay with the motivational letter. It's something where we want to learn your motivation to join CEU and the particular program. So it's a shorter text and it's solidly about your interest in joining this institution, the program, and maybe your goals for the future and how this program will help you in the future. Now, in a CV or a resume, you would want to collect in one page or 2-page document all your achievements outside, in school, but also outside of school. If you've never written a CV and you don't have one prepared, we have a template on the website that you can feel free to use. And it might also give you ideas of what is it that you might want to put. Even you think it might not be relevant, it actually could be relevant for us. If you don't think that working in the supermarket in the afternoon means anything for us, it does, because it adds up to your whole profile and means that you're a dedicated person and we're earning money for, I don't know, a program in summer to help you with your education. Now, the last but definitely not least is the recommendation letter. Now, at that stage, you would only upload the recommender's contact to the online application as it needs to be. So you shouldn't be seeing it. It needs to come directly from the referee. So you would submit the referee's contact details, and then they would send us their recommendation about you on time. Now, in choosing a recommender, think of a professor, a teacher, a tutor, somebody who knows you well, who has time to write a recommendation letter. It requires some time. Inform them in advance. Generally start preparing all these documents before or in advance before the deadline hits, because you can see it's quite a number of documents that you might need to sit down and work a little bit on. Yeah, and anything else that was not mentioned there, if you want to support your CV with some diplomas or certificates of participation that there is no space for you to upload, you would merge them all together and upload them under the other supporting documents field. It's not mandatory, but it's optional there, and I recommend you do that if you have anything extra to add. Submit the application or to send it to be considered, you would need to then finish it all up with the application fee payment, which is 30 euros. At that point, I would like to mention that you could submit several applications, so you could be applying to CPS and VB and even DSS officially. Technically, it would work. I do not encourage you to apply to all 3 programs. It might not seem serious. The programs are quite different, and you might not want to make an impression that you don't really know what, or you don't care which program you are applying for. But 2 programs are okay, and you would only pay the application fee once. Okay. Now I'll try to make it as clear as possible, but there are several steps in the application and admissions procedure. And I try to make it as visual as possible, as many things depend on each other. So please consider this. You would want to submit your application, but also pay the application fee and receive a confirmation from the system that the payment has went through and arrived with us at least 2, but ideally 10 days before the deadline. The reason for that is that we're using a third-party provider, and the payment doesn't automatically go through. It goes through this third-party provider, and for us to receive your application, it needs to be both submitted and paid. So please do not wait until February 1st to hit the button submit, because after that, you'll have 2 more steps to do. 1, pay, and then wait for confirmation that the payment has arrived with us. Now, the provider claims it can be it should be 2 to 3 working days, but depending on which country you're paying from, which type of card you're using, it might take up to 10 days. So please consider that. Now, you will receive a confirmation from the payment system that the money is with them immediately, but only after the money has landed with us, you would receive a feedback from our system, not from the payment provider, saying that you have now access to the applicant portal, where you can see the progress of your application. And at the same time, your recommender would receive a notification saying, this person has identified you as a recommender. Please send us your letter through. Now, one last thing though, the recommender would have 7 days after you have submitted and paid, and also after the deadline to send their recommendation through to us, which means that as long as those reddish, pinkish boxes are done before February 1st, you're good. the recommender can have 7 days after the deadline to submit their part. And now only after you have submitted and paid your first application, you would then be able to submit the next one. But the system will not let you to submit the next one anyways until the payment is through. So you cannot do anything wrong there, but just consider that in the timeline to submit the first one, pay it. And if you're applying to several, only after that, submit the second one. So plan in enough time for that. Now, between February 1st and end of February, beginning of March, the admissions committee sits down and reviews all the applications together. Then by the end of February, beginning of March, depending on the program, you would hear back from us, either with a rejection letter, and we do not provide you with reasons of why the decision has been made this way, or with an invitation to an interview with the professors from the program. The interview will be of an academic nature, and you will receive all instructions in an email, so do not worry. But be prepared that you will get a task or a text to read and then discuss it with the panel with professors. But however, shortly after that has happened, you will receive a final decision. So it should not take more than 2 weeks after the interview has taken place for you to receive the final decision. And imagine having your final decision of being offered a place at an institution or university or future university already by end of March, beginning of April. Isn't that great? And we will not take back our offer. Once it's there, it's for you to decide whether you accept it or not. Yeah, the same goes for April, a deadline. You can see it here on the side. I will not repeat, but I do encourage everybody to consider the February. How much time do I have? 2 minutes, great. Okay, financial matters. Now, on our website, we made sure to summarize all the costs for you, both recurring costs and variable costs, and we even estimated the potential cost of living in addition to accommodation that you might have. However, for the sake of simplicity, I only put here on the slide the most important and biggest recurring fees that you would have. First one is the tuition fee, 7,000 euros per academic year, so it would be on a yearly basis. And accommodation fee. It is mandatory for our first year BA students to move into our dormitory provider. The exceptions can be made for local students naturally. You would need to request an exemption. It's possible, but some students actually decide to move in. They will talk about it later, even if they are coming from Vienna. So it's up to you, and that would cost you 459 euros per month. After the first year, you're then free to choose whether you want to stay in that dormitory or you want to move out. CEU covers health insurance for all students. And in case you would apply by February 1st, you may indicate in your online application that you want to be considered for one of our limited, partial, merit-based financial support opportunities. And that's all you need to do, basically. You just tick off a box saying, I want to be considered. Then everybody who applies and indicates the interest in their application by February 1st would be considered for this awards. They're not all scholarships. The first two are tuition waivers. And the third one is alumni scholarship, which comes in form of financial payments on the top of the tuition for the first year of studies. I encourage you to look into our website and see other external financial aid opportunities, because there are many more to that CEU does not offer, but other institutions do worldwide. And we have a dedicated personnel for that who looks every year on all the possible external financial aid opportunities worldwide and would be able to consult you on that. Okay, and to summarize it all, if you are considering applying, please apply by February 1st. Make sure that the application is submitted and paid in time. If you want to be considered financial aid, do this by February 1st. And if you're late and you are a EU citizen or resident, you may still submit your application later by April 15th, both submitted and paid. However, please remember that that is only subject to space availability. And if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to email us undergraduateadmissions@ceu.edu. Thank you so much.